Points along the way. I can tell you that I've been on the fast track on a number of transactions that have been happening. So it's really interesting, and it's really good.
And there's a lot of people that think this dinar and the the ZIMs and all the stuff is all kabuki theater. When they reevaluate all of the money on earth, they have to reevaluate Kuwait, they have to reevaluate Iraq, Iran, the bolivars down in Venezuela, the dongs in Vietnam, and so on. They can't say, okay, we're going to reevaluate everybody. You guys got caught into a scam, though that money's not real. No, it is real. It's coming, and there's going to be a lot of us that were able to read the tea leaves, and we're getting ready to be fabulously wealthy. Is it going to happen tomorrow? Probably not. Is it going to happen next week? Probably not. This is a struggle. There's a new ruling class about to graduate. And we're going to have.
It's a massive transition, and it's a responsibility too, that those who have become awake to it are very responsible for it. And I know, like you are, you're very responsible.
But before we get started, folks, make sure you hit the pause button. Okay, go down below. There's a Rumble link. Go over to Rumble and follow us over there. QFS1776.com is without question the holy grail of what's to come. Okay, t-shirts, you got to get yourself decorated. This way people will ask you, what is XRP? What is the quantum financial system? What is this? What is that? And you send them where? To QFS1776.com, where they need to immerse themselves, because we're going to burn down this system down to the ground, and out of the ashes will rise the phoenix. There'll be nothing to go back to. Believe me when I tell you that. Unified TV will take over Netflix. We're bringing in the next genre of movie producers and storytellers and actors and actresses. And we're telling the story of how the world is going to be on earth as it is in heaven. GESARA and NESARA is coming. Don't make no mistake about it. Gold and silver right down below. Promo code Mel Carmine. Make sure you use the promo code. Almost $8 billion in sales. We're direct to like a bunch of mints. We are the ones that can get you the gold and silver directly to your door, okay, at the cheapest price. Don't even waste your time looking for a cheaper price. It doesn't exist. Also, our Telegram groups down below. If you want to learn what's coming and you're sort of a little scared, I understand. Believe me, I was there too at one point. Our Patriots are literally waiting for you in the room. And if you need more than $10,000 worth of XRP or $1 million worth of XRP, you come see me. Send me an email at QFS1776@gmail, and we'll get you as much as you want.
Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is Lisa from Question the Narrative. How is everybody today? I hope you're having a great day. It is Wednesday, the 5th of April, 2023. Yes, every day is yet another bell of excitement, and more information comes out. But today I want to follow up on a question that I asked last night, and it was about the financial markets. So I was lucky enough to have Mel Carmine join us here today on the show, and I thought we'd continue this conversation because I got a lot of comments from everybody, and I love that. So it's prompting a lot of interest. So what a perfect timing, divine timing in life to have Mel. Mel, how are you today? And welcome to the channel.
I'm doing great. I'm just traveling through Southern California as we're getting ready to open up more of these healing centers with Dr. Sandra Michael Rose technology, which is absolutely amazing. So we're living through some exciting times with the financial markets, and we're trying to bring, positive healing to the world, etc. And so we're having fun traveling, doing all this stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of definitely misinformation, like we were talking earlier out there. And, I have my perspective. Someone else may have a different perspective. Someone's going to be right. Someone's going to be wrong. Someone's going to get it half right. Someone's going to get it half wrong. At the end of the day, it's a bag of one and bag of the other, but you're going to get pretty much, some of the smart people will be able to figure out a lot of this stuff. The central bank digital currency is one of the things that you were hitting on. And I could tell you that the central bank digital currency, as far as I am concerned, is not going to see the light of day simply because these asset classes work perfectly well peer to peer. In other words, if I can pay you directly to your wallet, do I need a central bank digital currency?
Well, that's interesting. Let's start back there, because it sounds like there's a lot of things. First of all, Mel is working on a variety of things. If people who don't know you, Mel, you're working, you are expert in the crypto market. You have a lot of expertise there, and then you're also doing something which is quite humanitarian, which is working on healing frequencies. So the two big areas: health and wealth. The wealth, the feeling of abundance that we all need to have, the health that we kind of do. So it's wonderful, and I thought it's a wonderful combination of what you're doing. So appreciate the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
So let's focus in, and we could probably do another episode, a conversation with you about what you're doing on the health side.
Yeah.
But today, I think we want to focus in at about the financial system and what we're talking about. So when I first started listening to you, I was really taken by your expertise in the area of crypto, but mostly your thesis on XRP and how you got to the point that XRP was something of significance in the sea of various tokens, crypto projects, as they call them, blockchain, and you sort of you gave me clarity about something. So could we start with that? Because I think a lot of people are just really getting up to speed on the concept of crypto, blockchain, and distributed ledger types of technologies.
Yeah, absolutely, Lisa. I can appreciate that question. The reality is, you need to understand, first of all, they're not called cryptos. Crypto is what the cabal wants, and the cabal wants a central bank digital currency, and they want to give you a social credit score. And if you're not a good boy, and if you don't, behave, and if you don't listen to the government, they can shut your money off. That's not the world I want to live in. Lisa, I would probably guess that is not the
It's
world.
not the world I'm going to live in either. So we're totally aligned there.
Right? So
okay.
At the end of the day, this is a war. We're in a war right now, even though you don't see houses blowing up and missiles being thrown and all that kind of stuff. We're in a war with the cabal. They want the central bank digital currency. Central bank digital currency, as far as I'm concerned, is never going to see the light of day, because, like I said earlier, you could pay people peer to peer. You don't need, if I could pay, if let's say you want to sell me your house or your car, and you accept XRP, and I could send my XRP directly to your wallet, do I need to go through a central bank digital currency? What they want to do is they want to set up another bridge currency, which is a central bank digital currency on the blockchain, and there's really no room for it, and there's no need for it, and they know that, and that's the struggle. Otherwise, this turkey would have been out of the oven a long time ago. They know they've lost their power when they didn't pay attention to what this was early on, and they could have hired some very talented programmers to create a digital currency that made sense, that's part of the blockchain and the ecosystem. They didn't do that. They basically poo-pooed and said, oh, it's going to go away. When they realized it didn't go away, they slapped us with a lawsuit. You got 27,000 tokens, right? And only one has the lawsuit.
So now that's interesting. So you said 27,000 tokens that are out there in the market, and one has a lawsuit, and that one is Ripple or XRP. Is it XRP or Ripple that has the lawsuit?
Well, Ripple is the company. XRP is the token. If Ripple went away today and never to be seen again, XRP is going to survive just fine because of what it does.
Right. Can you tell people what it does? Because this is the thing that I think is really important, because you said 27,000 tokens and you've got one that has a lawsuit. That's Ripple for XRP, right? Let's talk about why that is.
The XRP was designed specifically to take over the movement of money on a global scale. And it's going to be made simple at some point when the big boys upstairs, or whoever's left, and what we're going to call them is not banks, but they're going to be called financial service centers. And they're going to be running on a software, we believe, called PolySign. And bleed you and put a social score on you, all of that. Although I do believe that there might be a very small window of opportunity that's going to be short-lived for the central bank digital currencies, and it's going to be strictly to do what? To scare the heebie-jeebies out of the normies, to say, I don't want this. Average person that's like me, I'm a rebel with a cause, not without a cause, many causes. Right. And I'm not going to I'm not going to genuflect to a new world order. I'm not going to genuflect to a government because they say you have to do certain things this way. Otherwise, I'm going to shut your money off and you won't be able to buy popcorn at the movie theater, Mel. You know what I mean? I don't want to live in that world, like I said. So Are they going to bring it out just for a little bit? And is it controlled by the good guys? That's the 29,000.
Now that's interesting too. Yeah, that's a very interesting
Is it
point.
controlled
Yeah.
by the good guys just to get people to snap out of their comas and say, hey, you don't want the system, you want this system, right? Where you're in
But let's go back, Mel, to what's different about XRP than the other tokens that are out there and why this is
Great
the
question.
token.
Yeah. See what happened. Let's go back to the beginning of time. This is for your audience. My audience has got a black belt on this all day long.
Okay, thank you. And for me too.
What happened in 2008, 2009? We had the housing bubble. All right, let's go to the beginning of time. And I've told the story many times, and I got to tell the story because I always say that 0.00065 of the world's population is into digital assets. The rest of the world's not here yet. You're looking at 175 million people, approximately, give or take 5 or 10 million. So let's go back to 1988. David Schwartz patents blockchain technology. Correct? So problem is you are on what? Dial-up. Dial-up and blockchain technology don't work too well together. Okay? You can't move, because, for example, XRP is scalable to 3.5 trillion transactions per second. It's already been proven.
Yeah, that wasn't going to work on the original dial-up.
We're going to do it on dial-up, right? So, okay, so we have to wait for the technology to sort of catch up to present day.
The web, was it web 0 at that point? Or not even web 1.0?
Yeah, exactly. So David Schwartz goes to work for who? One of those 4-letter agencies called DARPA. 1999, 2000, right in there. They realized that the housing bubble and the entire market is going to crash. And because they realized that the entire market is going to crash, they needed a monetary system. With that, they went to David Schwartz, probably, potentially, maybe not from around here, or maybe got downloads from extraterrestrials to build this, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is too slow. It costs too much money, and 3 transactions per minute doesn't work. They've been trying to build a lightning network, which there's nothing lightning about it. And that doesn't work. That's been going on for over 10 years. So you got a problem. You got a Bitcoin. If you got 2 Bitcoins, you want to move them from point A to point B, it can cost you anywhere between $4,000 to $6,000. And you could be waiting as long as 4 or 5 hours, because depending on how busy the network is, 3 transactions per minute now, and it can't be scaled. Work doesn't work. So we had to go back to the drawing board. Who is Satoshi Nakamoto?
And for people who don't know, was the supposed founder of Bitcoin, right?
Bitcoin. Who is the only guy that knows how Bitcoin was working and failing miserably and can go back and fix Bitcoin and make it XRP? Satoshi Nakamoto, aka David Schwartz.
So not the person. Okay, yep. Right. So we got this story. Okay.
2009. They knew the writing was on the wall. The big boys at DARPA went to them and said, listen, we got a problem. They created Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't work. They had to go back to the drawing board. Months later, comes out OpenCoin. OpenCoin was what XRP used to be called.
Okay.
They were partners with who? They were partners with Jeff McGaleb, who went out and broke off and started another token. I think that was all kabuki theater. Why? Because the XRP alone cannot handle what's coming. They need multiple tokens that are part of the ISO market. With that, they created XLM, and out of that was born XDC, and so on. So the ISO tokens, the 20022 tokens, are the ones that are going to rule the world, not maybe, 100 trillion%.
So let's go into that too. So we've gone from the idea that you had a digital currency, which was the need to ensure that the financial system didn't crash in 2008, 2009. Right. Then you've got DARPA intervening in that to make certain that they get the technology out there, but the technology was insufficient. And then you do 2.0, which then becomes XRP, but this token wasn't sufficient enough to do everything. So you're going to have a combination of XLM and XDC in addition to XRP. But then you mentioned this word, and this is one of the things I wanted to get out there, the ISO requirements. Right. What is that, and why is that so important? Because it's referenced all the time when you mention XRP.
Yes, it's because those are the ones that are going to be bank compliant or financial service center compliant, Basel compliant. And as we go into
Basel 3, right? Basel
4,
3. Mm-hmm.
4.
Basel 4. Okay, this is another thing, because I think there's been confusion out there. They're saying Basel 3, Basel 4, and the Basel initiatives, because a lot of people, this is financial history, which I think is so important for people, which is why I'm asking to articulate it for everybody. Basel 1, Basel 2, what were those? Those are
Well,
the
you got the
banking years.
Hedera hash graph, which is a great token. You got the IOTA, which is a great token. You got about 7 tokens that are, if you go to Google to put in, ISO compliance, okay, tokens, you'll come up with about a list of 7 or 8 tokens. And now there
Mhm.
are spin-offs of the XRP, which XRP, for example, has backed tokens like Spark Flare, which I believe the Spark Flare is going to take over what? Ethereum. I believe that the Bitcoin eventually is going to go away. Why? Because nobody, look, at the end of the day, you can argue this all day long until you're blue in the face. Either you're right, you're wrong. But I'm going to argue with anybody who wants to come into the ring with the pizza guy. I'm going to destroy you because I know my stuff.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, people want fast, cheap. Okay. Mike from what is it? The name of the company? I can't think of the name of this company off the top of my head. Michael Arrington Capital. Michael Arrington Capital, about 4.5 years ago. This is an interesting story which lives on the internet, and he's really recently made a video of it. And I was wrong. It wasn't 2.8 seconds. It was 2 seconds. 2.
Mhm.
Okay? He moved $50 million from point A to point B in 2 seconds, and it cost him 30 cents.
Mm.
You're moving
Mhm.
$50 million and it costs you 30 cents, and it lands in 2 seconds without making any mistakes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
Right?
This is the way the transactions are.
So
So going back to this,
people want fast. People
yeah.
want cheap. People want scalability, and I can tell you, XRP has all 3 of those qualities in spades.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm. And so that was developed to provide this kind of transaction and liquidity. So you have XRP ISO tokens, one of the 7 tokens that are XRP. Define also token, and why do you use the word token versus a digital asset?
Well, it's a digital token. It's a digital asset. They're both one and the same. Okay.
Okay.
You could choose whatever label you want to give it. I mean, some people are more comfortable with tokens. Some people are comfortable with digital
Mhm.
assets. I'm comfortable either or. I don't like to call it crypto because crypto is what the cabal wants for you. They want you in the crypt. They want you dead. They want you sick. They want you with that medical procedure that nobody wants to take, etc. And they want you out of the way. And then they're going to release all the artificial technology once we're all gone. That it didn't work out so well for them because
And I love this because
yes.
I believe words are so important, and I love that you're highlighting this, that the words themselves, descriptions of these best assets, was actually quite nefarious, which is really important, which has led to a lot of the confusion on that. All right, so we've got XRP, ISO compliant, variety within 7 tokens. XRP is going to be what within the new ecosystem?
It is going to be the one that's going to be graduating and moving the NESARA, GESARA. All of the money is going to have to travel through something. They're going to have to travel through something that's very capable of being able to deliver the goods. And the only one that could deliver the goods is XRP, XLM, XDC. They're uber fast. They're uber cheap. They are on proof of stake. They're not on proof of work. You don't have to mine them. They're already pre-mined, and therefore they're much more efficient. The scalability is what's important here because, Lisa, as we go into this new world that we all call Nasara, Jasara, and I got proof. I have another lady that just came at me and says, I don't know if I want to come on camera, Mel, but I got $55,000 worth of school loan debt forgiveness. And she's willing to give me all the documentation redacted, and maybe I'll do a solo on it. Okay. If I breather on this workcation, if you want to call it that. But the reality is that, the ones that are going to win the day are the ones that are scalable to run the world. Now, as we move into Nasara, Jasara, you have to understand, and I'm sure your audience, as I notice, my audience does, but you got 90+% of Africa, Southeast Asia, and India that are unbanked. We're about to get into this universal basic income. We're about to get into this humanitarian way of doing things where there's going to be a lot of opportunities for people to go and earn $5,000-6,000 a month. They're going to get a stipend from maybe the government, maybe people like me, myself and my wife, and people who own a lot of XRP who are going to become multi-billionaires have to pay into that system to pay you guys out there, because I want to have like a dozen humanitarian projects. I want to save the dogs, for example. I want to save the beefs. I want to help my friend Rebel, save the horses that the government's shooting out of a helicopter, wild horses, and make it into dog meat and feeding dogs. So there's going to be a menu of humanitarian projects. You're probably going to be able to go to some kind of a website, and you're going to be able to punch in, what floats your boat, and they'll say, okay, you'll be good for helping rebuild the coral, or you'll be good to help Rebel with the horses, etc. So when that starts to happen, that money that you guys are getting, it's not like you're going to go into utopia. Nobody has to work anymore, and you got
that's important. That's important for people to understand. Yeah, it's not going to go from zero to not.
You might be working 20 hours a week, and you might not have a boss that's going to be on top of you because he needs to make millions of dollars off of your production. So it might be a lot less stressful, and you're going to make a very comfortable living. And prices at some point, because the liquidity crisis are going to be solved, because you got about $47 trillion trapped inside these Vostro accounts, which are using this money to move money around the world. So you could move money around the world in like 1 second. What happens? You don't need to have that $47 trillion of money trapped around the world, sitting dormant, doing nothing, waiting for.
Well, let's be clear. It was never dormant, doing nothing. The SWIFT system, which took 4 or 5 days or whatever they want to say to transition to another bank to ensure that it got there, they were taking that money and they were investing it somewhere for their own good.
Oh, now you can open up a can of worms that I really
sorry.
No, it's okay. It's fine. There are about four programs in the entire world that are legit, and for every one, there's thousands that are illegitimate. And you're right, they take that money and they trade it on the market, and they're making 150% interest on your money.
Yep.
Churning that money every single month. They're making
the float.
Exactly.
Yeah. They were floating off our backs.
If you go and try to, you have to have $100 million to play with in that market. Number one, 99.99999% of all the things you come across out there in that arena are all scams. You're gonna they're designed to take your money. There's 4. The reason why I know that, a friend of mine who lives in Bali, he also lives in Las Vegas, who is a multi-billionaire. I'm not allowed to mention his name. He lives in that market, and he's got one of the 4 platforms that actually does deliver. So, and the reason why I know that is I've known this gentleman for quite a long time.
Got it.
Yes. So that money really does not sit dormant. They tell you it sits dormant. But when you solve the liquidity crisis of the entire world on every aspect, it's going to stay. When you fix the supply chain and you get rid of Joe and company, and you put in the right leaders, etc. The Brics nation is GESARA, NESARA.
So now that's interesting. That's a really important point. So what we're seeing right now in the world today, which is really critical, that's going to precipitate the moves that we're going to start to be seeing in the public eye, is that you've got Russia off the SWIFT system, which were kicked off by all of the sanctions. Then you had Russia getting together with the Brics nations, the original Brics construct, expanding that to, I think they're at 70 plus now, between 70 and 100 different
nations,
different nations that are all transacting. And now, just a few days ago, you had Saudi Arabia meeting with China and Brazil and saying, we can transact now without the US dollar. So this is really important. So the concept of the BRICS. So you're saying, once again, that BRICS is actually GESARA and NESARA because they're on a different system?
It's on a gold standard. All of your rainbow currency and all the paper money that's going to still be around for a little while.
Right.
Because we have a bunch of people who are seniors, they're not going to go and jump into the digital world and get it, because it's not going to happen. I don't care how simple, how easy you make it. You're still
your mom and my mom are not doing that. Exactly.
Bingo.
Exactly.
Bingo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
In fact, I'm not even sure some of my friends are going to do it.
exactly. So imagine, think about that for a second. Okay.
Yeah.
There are people that understand that they need to go to QFS1776.com and they need to immerse themselves, but they are scared to death. They don't realize that we went way out of our way for over 2 years and went and gathered the most elementary videos. And we put them in a chronological order, fourth grade level of education. I don't care who you are. If you're a 75-year-old grandmother, if you're a 14-year-old kid, you watch those videos top to bottom. By the time you get down to the bottom, I guarantee you have a black belt in what's coming, and you can't stop what's coming. Period.
That's fantastic, because I mean literally I sat down and I said to myself a couple of years ago, I said, I have to understand this. I have to know how to do it. And at first it was absolutely mechanical. I watched videos, I tried to understand, I wrote it down. In fact, I wrote a cheat sheet down and I sent it to people, even though I know a lot of people say they teach courses on it and they like to sell. I'm like, I'm giving this out for free because I'm showing you how I learned, and just get aware of it. And most people I've offered it to have said, thank you so much. And I think it'll be valuable now, but we're going to send them to yours because yours are going to be much more helpful. But yeah, well, it took time. It took time to understand it.
Yeah, we have probably conservatively, if you wanted to, spend 8-10 hours a day, we got 2.5-3 months worth of material that you need to go through.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna make any bones about it. It's not, it's not like I said, like you have a choice, you don't. And you're going to have to learn the new system, because by hook or by crook, by default, you're going to have to learn it because it's coming.
It's coming. So let's go into this. Let's go and play a couple scenarios out, because I think a lot of the confusion is not that people don't, people who are listening to this, that they don't believe there's going to be a token, a digital token that they're going to move toward. It is about which one, how it's going to be executed. Now, the first thing I would like to ask you, for all the things that you said no CBDC unless it's a bridge to show. We didn't talk about stable coins, what you think what role they may play, but I want to look at CBDC, stablecoin, and then how you enter the system. Are we going to need this proverbial digital ID?
Well, I don't think we'll ever see the digital ID. That's what the Chinese Communist Party would like to see. America is the biggest domino that needs to fall. If America falls, the domino falls, everybody comes down with us. Okay. Yeah. That is first and foremost. However, I will tell you this, they never understood or realized that the weight of this domino is like, 900 trillion pounds. It's a big domino. You're not going to knock.
We're stubborn, aren't we? I love that about us.
American people are not docile. They're not going to get rid of their, their firearms. They're not going to get rid of their bullets. As a matter of fact, they're buying more. Like when they bombed, Pearl Harbor, they wanted to actually bomb the mainland. A lot of people don't know this. Okay. And one of the generals said to the other general, are you out of your effing mind? Is if we go into the United States of America, there's a gun waiting for you behind every blade of grass.
Whether that's true or not, it was a good scare tactic, right?
It's true. So if there was a gun waiting for you behind every blade of grass back then, I can assure you that those guns are now 5 guns behind every blade of grass. I would not do that if I was you. Okay. Because we don't look at the end of the day, we don't want to fight. We want to win this thing as cleanly as possible and minimize casualties on all sides. And we want to get
this transition.
Right. Yeah. But if we had to fight, if the American people were pushed to fight and you put them in a corner and you leave them absolutely 0 options, I guarantee you're going to get the fight of your life.
Yeah. We're feisty. That's why we're so important. So I love that. So going back, so you don't believe that we'll have to have this digital ID. So you're saying, how do you see us getting into these? Oh, apologies. Sure. How do you see us getting into these digital assets without having to go through this digital ID, which is, I think, really confusing people everywhere.
Here's the way the digital ID works. You are a government dissident like myself. If I walk down the street, let's say the digital ID, hypothetically speaking, the Communist Chinese Party is able to knock over the 900 trillion pound domino and we all go into communism. And Mel Carmine walks down the street. I got a 900 trillion minus zero, social score. I can't buy, I can't trade, I can't sell a bubble gum. I can't do anything. I'm screwed. Okay. That is a problem. And that's what we're trying to avoid.
Exactly. Yep.
So
Exactly.
are they going to bring in the central bank digital currency and the social score just for 2 months or 3 months? And it's the white hats doing it just to scare the living daylights out of everybody? If that happens, yes. Because the way it works is like this. They're going to give you, for example, hypothetically speaking, they're going to give you, let's say, $50 a week for, your groceries, right? And
So universal basic income
right,
concept.
exactly. So that $50 a week or $100 a week, whatever you want to divvy it up, a certain percentage of that money you could buy steaks, and that money is programmed just to buy steaks. When you run out of your steaks money, you cannot use your chicken money to buy steaks.
Right. Nor can you take a flight if you've driven so far, right? We know this. This is the control thing, yeah.
Or the electric car, and everybody's crazy about getting the electric car. Oh, you don't agree with the government? They'll shut you off on the highway while you're doing 70.
So no, this is the concern about people. People are, I think, fairly aware now where there's been enough information about the central banking digital currency, because it's essentially the digital version of a fiat central banking currency. This is the thing we're running from. We're not walking from, we're running from it. In fact, we're running out of the explosion.
Sure.
However, you've got this other thing called a stable coin, and then you've got these other tokens out here, and you've got sort of various ways of doing it. But at the end of the day, how do you enter the digital arena without this ID? Can you give us some scenarios? Because this is the thing to me that's keeping me up at night, concerned about how do we do this? What are the ways that we get into it? Because you're right, people are aware enough about this central banking digital currency to know that this is bad. This can control. But how do you get into the good ones? How do we get there?
The words peer to peer. Peer-to-peer payments. That's what the bankers are afraid of. They don't want you and me to become our own banks. Because if I can go down to the ice cream shop, the pizza shop, the hair salon, the sushi joint, the hardware store, whatever, and they're accepting casino coin, or they're accepting XRP, or they're accepting XLM, and I can pay them direct, I don't need a bank. I've just become my own bank.
Right. So right now I can't get XRP unless I go through a broker. I can't do various things because I'm an American, but I'm living there. However, that said, I still had to go through a know your customer process, which is a form of a digital identification or an identification. How do you see this working? Because peer-to-peer, I'm 100% with you on that, but I'm still trying. I think it's, to me, this is the big hurdle that I see with getting to this place. Because I know we're here, I know where I want to go. How do I get there?
I'm going to make it simple for you, Lisa.
Great.
The fact that it's peer-to-peer, it already exists in the programming of these tokens. They cannot deprogram it because the bankers say, hey, we don't want people to pay peer-to-peer. We want them to go through a central bank digital currency, and we handle all of the money. Okay. So that is not going to happen. So the fact that they're not going to take the peer-to-peer payment system away, where I could pay you directly, you can pay me directly, you could pay your local businesses directly, is a problem for them. If it wasn't a problem for them, this party would have been over a long time ago. Hence the reason why the lawsuit's been settled a long time ago. This is
something that people don't realize too. It has been settled. Why aren't they announcing it?
Well, because they're not ready for Nasara and Jasara yet. Somebody's calling the judge and say, hey, slow it down. And, we're not there yet. We're testing the system side by side, which I can tell you emphatically they are, because people are going through my brokers to buy larger quantities of XRP, XLM, XDC, what have you, minimum 10,000 or more, et cetera. I've had people come up with millions of dollars purchasing XRP through my brokers successfully. And I can tell you that the reason why they're not stopping it is because I think I lost my train of thought. Ask the question again if you don't mind.
Because they're saying, how do we get from here to there? So with the current system to the new system without going through a digital ID.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you know, they're not going to deprogram the fact that we can pay each other peer to peer. As long
Right.
as they don't deprogram that, which I don't see that happening.
But it's getting the XRP or getting that token in the first place. How do you get that without having to go through that IDing process or
Oh, okay.
or
You're talking
different?
about the KL, the KY.
KYC, know your customer, which is different than a digital ID. So, you know, you looked at the health measures we're trying to get us into a digital ID. People said, no, thank you. Actually, that was a very nice way of saying it, but they really said, no, thank you, and don't try again. And now they're trying to do it with the CBDC concept.
Right.
So do we need another identification process in order to get into
Well,
this
to
new program
purchase it,
or
yeah.
no?
To purchase it, they need to know that they're not dealing that Lisa is not a criminal. So they need to know
Mm.
who you are, you know,
Yeah,
and they have to sort of cover their butt. Okay.
right.
They sell you the XRP. Say, hey, Lisa came to you. Did you know that she was a drug dealer? You
Yeah,
know?
but
So
that's in the current system right now, how I'm buying it in the
yeah,
current system. And
that's
the
not a problem.
future, do we need to, as we transition, is that going to be necessary?
I don't really think so, simply because GESARA and NESARA is going to exist under different laws, different
Mhm.
circumstances that we can't even foresee right now. And you know, I got an 8th degree black belt on NESARA, GESARA. I've been at this for quite some time. We know that we're supposed to happen. For example, you know, when the towers, you know, you remember what happened there, without mentioning too much, because otherwise we're gonna get this video banned on YouTube. Okay, we're still XRP, in my opinion, was created, Lisa, with all due respect, to avert World War III.
That's an interesting prospect. Tell us what you mean by that.
Well, because right now, if the you know the bankers were at war with each other, they would be funding both sides of the war, and the missiles will be airborne. Believe me. Okay,
Got it.
when you're talking about a war of this level of
Fair.
magnitude.
Yeah.
But the thing is, see, I believed all day long that they took it lightly when it came out, when they saw the Bitcoin and the Ethereum, and then later came the XRP and all the other tokens. They didn't take it seriously. They didn't think it was something that would ever take out the fiat system. Well, here we are. Now, if the bankers could have figured out how to become multi-trillionaires, which they really could if they wanted to, just take their fiat currency, which is worthless, and put it into the XRP system, which I believe all day long there's going to be a buyout of $100,000 per token, and it's 50 cents today or 49 cents, whatever it is.
Mhm.
So when you take into account that you're not going to be able to move all the money on Earth, and we're going into this new world called Nasara and Jasara with the UBI and all these different countries that are unbanked are about to be banked, and you're going to be moving all of this money. We go from 5 quadrillion of movement of money into a 50 quadrillion movement of money. You're not going to do it with a 50-cent token.
Right. Right.
You take the escrow supply, which is 50 billion XRP, which is held by who? Ripple, who's not allowed to leave the United States of America. Why didn't they leave the United States of America? If they could have left, don't you think they would have left already?
Yeah.
Somebody made them an offer they can't refuse.
Interesting. Yeah, because you can hardly buy XRP here. So
Like
how could, yeah.
we just created
Yeah.
the most powerful monetary system in the world, and we're going to go and launch it out of Japan or Singapore. You think they're going to allow us to do that?
No,
Really?
no, yeah.
No, of course not.
Got it. So interesting. Yeah. So you're saying like, so we're looking at this and we're looking at this token becoming a huge value, that it's the thing that transacts. So I remember you were saying before that XRP is going to be what the consumers transact on, and XLM will be where commercial transactions go. Is
No,
that
I believe
still?
XRP is going to be the one that is going to take care of the remittances, the corporation movement of money, government to government movement of money. We're talking a lot of money. You
Okay.
know, XLM, I think, is going to be the money that's going to be used for local shopping, whatever.
Okay. So I got that wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to see the sign saying we accept Visa and MasterCard to go, we accept XRP, XLM, XDC. That's what you're going to see. That's the world we're transitioning into.
Very interesting in how we're going to do it. Okay, so let's talk about this. How do, and I love what you were saying here, is that you have certain parts of the world that have been unbanked. This is very true. So it's a brand new world. We're going to get everybody into the banking system. So, or a, whatever term we want to use, a financial system that supports them, that they can use these tokens. But we have money right now in various countries. And then the creation of money in the current system, in the central banking model, has been the creation by these central banks, loaning to governments, and then governments owing interest on it, where the taxpayers pay that. But we had a certain amount in various countries.
Right.
How are we going to divide up the pie? How are we going to create money as we go into the new system?
Well, that's a question that maybe is a little over my head, but I will tell you this. Donald Trump has said many, many times when he was president, which I still believe he is, that we need a new monetary level playing field. He's said that ad nauseum many, many, many times. He comes down the escalator to announce he's running for president, and there's a sign behind him says currency exchange. He goes and does the inauguration speech, and he says, we're going to give the power back to you, the people. He's telling you he's going to give you Nasara and Jasara. He goes to an RV company that makes RVs that travel around the world, etc., for people who like that kind of lifestyle. And he turns around to his wife and says, I think we're going to get an RV. No, he's telling you there's going to be a reevaluation of money. The average person is not interested in listening. See, I just was traveling recently, and I'm so plugged into my world that I'm not plugged into the three-dimensional world, if you will. So I'm standing online. I'm in Cancun, connecting flights to come to Los Angeles, and I'm listening to this little click of conversation here, and I'm listening to this click on, and they're talking about stuff that is just so three-dimensional that doesn't mean nothing, has zero value, right? And I'm saying to myself, okay, I'm not crazy. These people are way brainwashed, way distracted. That's not the world I want to live in. And I'm glad that I want to create my own little cocoon of people that I want to be surrounded with. People who are on my wavelength, people who are paying attention. Unfortunately, that's not the masses. They have to simplify the system. In order for the masses to come, it has to be as easy, Lisa, as people being able to log into their Bank of America account, their Chase account. We're not there yet. Right now, if you try to buy XRP, you can't. They make it very difficult. If you go to Uphold, they make it very. I know, because we got 30,000 plus people in our chat group, and I hear all the complaints.
Right. No, it's very complicated. As a matter of fact, it's a puzzle piece. As I'm trying to tell people, as I said, it's like, well, it's not like I do this one thing and I constantly repeat the same process. It's like, well, if I want this thing, I have to buy it there, and I have to push it there, and I have to exchange it there, and then I have to do it here. And how do I do the key? And oh, I can't leave it on the exchange. I don't know what the risk is over there. And that's the world that it is right now, which is fine.
How much?
But you're right.
How much do you know, for example, about Antarctica?
I know enough to say that I don't know enough that I want to know. I know that there's a lot of stuff going on out there. So please.
You are not allowed to, right? Why? And I'm sure your audience, again, does not know this. My audience knows all this stuff. And I'm trying to recruit more people, because the vast majority of the people are not here yet. And so I want to cater to your audience so that they come. Because look, I'm partial, because I know what we built. Okay. Nobody can break through the Sicilian firewall. We got the most secure Telegram group, bar none. Everybody should take a page out of our book and copy us, exactly, because we got security down to a science. And I don't know why the scammers keep coming. Okay. But let's get back to Antarctica. Why, out of 27,000 tokens, which most of them are scams. And when I say most of them, I mean more than 99% of them. Right? A lot more than 99% of them. Okay. Why was Christine Lagarde, Brad Garlinghouse, and Joel Katz, which is Satoshi Nakamoto, the guy that I think created Bitcoin, that didn't work, and he had to go create XRP, David Schwartz, why were those three
in Antarctica?
In Antarctica. Why those three? Why not the CEO of XLM? Why not the CEO of XDC? Why not the CEO of 27,000 other tokens?
Well, because they know they're in the room where it's happening. They're creating it right now, or they're negotiating something to release something. I mean, I personally can think there are certain codes that the current system has that someone has to release. And I don't know who has to release them, but they can't do it. They can't transition the system until they release those codes.
And I don't believe anything's going to happen under this president. I believe this president who, with this election debacle, let's call it that for a lack of a better term. You guys know what we're talking about. And now with the arrest of Trump, etc., it's all a shit show.
But I do believe that that's for a purpose, that they're doing that for a purpose, for people to not like people to become more aware and say this is ridiculous and start to look into things.
Well, there's going to be a lot of cops not going to work because they don't want to be part of this whole thing. Okay. They call it the blue flu. Okay. That's happening. There's going to be a lot of things that are going down that, you're going to realize why they did it maybe in 2 weeks. I think, I'm speculating again, I think they're going to say, hey, you can't arrest the president when we go to arrest Joe.
Right.
No, you just arrested Trump. He was a president. We open the door now so that we can arrest you. Nothing stuck on Trump, but I think a few things might stick on you, especially that laptop.
And this is exactly the world we're living in. Exactly. But you're right. The Antarctica thing is a real example of, first of all, why is there a place on this planet that we're not allowed to go, that governments can control? Governments work for us. We forget that. We forget that all the time. Money is an energy that works for us. They don't control it, but they have controlled it. And I think that there's this system. And so to me, I'm curious right now because I believe that this is what my fellow brothers and sisters need to understand, because those of us who are listening to this are the leaders to help guide as the truth is coming out. And I believe the truth is just about to come out. And we are the ones that the more we know, the better we can help guide people. And that's the purpose of this discussion. Do any of us know exactly how this is going to transition? Heck no. And if we did, it would change again tomorrow because it's just the way this thing is going. But that said, the more we know about the things to watch out for are the critical ones, which is why I've been asking the question about understand the digital world, because we're going there, which is why I made my cheat sheet. I can give you my cheat sheet, but it sounds like you've got way more information, but this is important. And I want everybody to know what your list of videos are, because we got to start learning this stuff. We are responsible for ourselves. No savior is coming in the white knight to save us. And that's really important. But also too, we need to know what to watch out for. And my spidey sense, my little antenna says, watch out for the digital ID right now. And that's the one thing I'm going to be asking a lot of people about. I don't know about stablecoin versus CBDC, whether we're going to have a bridge over there, which it sounds like. I mean, listen, we are on the pathway we're just about to put a foot onto the bridge right now with the CBDCs, because they're launching them, they're getting things ready for them, and they said they're going to be out and about and mandatory by July. Now, we all know that Americans don't do anything that's mandatory. So we're just about to put our foot on the bridge. But then what happens and how do we do it? And what are those things that we should all be questioning right now to say, where are our boundaries? And I'm curious, are there other things like my boundary is really understand the digital ID. What are your things that you're watching out for as we make this transition?
Well, what we're watching out for right now is mostly the NESARA, GESARA, debt forgiveness, the level playing field. The digital ID, in my opinion, is nothing more than a distraction to get people riled up, because there's people all over the world, obviously, protesting that they don't want it because they understand what it is. It's funny, I came out here and we were trying to buy some data from AT&T. Unfortunately, that didn't work, so we ended up going to T-Mobile. So I'm here, I'm giving AT&T and T-Mobile a plug. I'm sure they need to give them a plug, right? But anyway, the gentleman that took care of us at T-Mobile, basically, we just started talking about digital assets, and he's like, yeah, I'm into Bitcoin, I'm into Ethereum. Obviously, he's, that's part of the mainstream. People go to buy digital assets today. They're buying Ethereum and Bitcoin on name recognition. They're not buying it based on utility.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he said, I've been living here for 10 years. He's from Bulgaria. He goes, I came to the United States because I tried to get away from that stuff. He meant communism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He goes, these people here, he's talking about the people in Los Angeles, have no clue of what's happening. And I always say jokingly, and to me, it's not a joke. If somebody says, Mel, let's do it, I'd be willing to make the biggest fundraiser in the world and take anybody who loves communism. We'll send you a one-way ticket. We'll do a big fundraiser. We'll send you a one-way ticket to North Korea. And when you're begging on your knees like a little baby, crying like crazy, okay, we'll leave you there for another year just to make a point.
Mel, you sound like my family. You say it like it is. I love it. It's fantastic. That's great.
That's the way I look at it. Yes, there's a lot of distractions going on. Again, I'll say going to my grave, and that's not anytime soon, by the way, because I now own life extension technology. Okay. So I'm here for a long time.
Excellent.
And I can tell you that it's not going to happen, because when people realize, like I said, that they could pay each other peer to peer, which has always been the case, I can go right now to the local dealership and buy a brand new Corvette off the lot. And if that dealer accepts XRP, I can pay him direct. I don't need a central bank digital currency.
Exactly.
Period.
So KYC is very different than a digital ID, which is a really good kind of thing on that. Well, all right. I think, Mel, we've covered quite a bit today. It's a good start for everybody. Is there any last things about what you'd like to say about what you see over the next couple of weeks, a month, as we move rapidly toward this new financial system?
Yeah, I think that the minute that you'll see XRP, the Kabuki Theater, the lawsuit of semantics being settled for the masses, you'll see XRP shoot to like 30, 40 bucks, like that. And when that happens, there'll be a lot more people buying it at 30 and 40 bucks than people buying it today at 50 cents. And that's a mistake. Okay. Because this token has been here for a long time. It's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? It's here to stay. It's already proven the test of time. It's gone through it's been battle tested every which way. They're running the systems parallel. The reason why I know that, as I was trying to tell you earlier, is because my broker, sometimes the people that are investing with my broker, they'll send the money in via wire, which is the way sometimes it lands on the express lane, which is called the blockchain, and sometimes it goes on the old system, right? So the old system is what? The SWIFT system, which was born in 1972, which is when I moved to the United States.
She's a little old, she's a little tired, and she likes to give float to everybody who uses her.
So, and then I have people call me and say, hey, I just sent my money into your broker. I sent in my 50,000, 100,000, 10,000, whatever it is. And it landed in seconds. How was that possible? Quantum financial system. I was at the bank recently because we had to open up an account with Chase, because we have a private membership association with the age regression technology that we now own. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I said, by any chance, this is now mid-level management person that's opening up the account for us. We have to open up a specific account that basically makes us tax exempt legally, not illegally. Mm-hmm. And I said to her, by any chance, do you know anything about this quantum financial system? She goes, it's funny you say that. Corporate just sent down some information for us to all read about the quantum financial system. And I got her on the recording say hello to 30,000 people, please.
Wow. And you're right. There are validation points along the way. I can tell you that I've been on the fast track on a number of transactions that have been happening. So it's really interesting, and it's really good.
And there's a lot of people that think this dinar and the ZIMs and all the stuff is all Kabuki theater. When they reevaluate all of the money on earth, they have to reevaluate Kuwait. They have to reevaluate Iraq, Iran, the bolivars down in Venezuela, the dongs in Vietnam, and so on. they can't say, okay, we're going to reevaluate everybody. You guys got caught into a scam, though that money's not real. No, it is real. It's coming, you know.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of us that were able to read the tea leaves, and we're getting ready to be fabulously wealthy. Is it going to happen tomorrow? Probably not. Is it going to happen next week? Probably not. This is a struggle. There's a new ruling class about to graduate, and we're going to have.
It's a massive transition, and it's a responsibility too, that those who have become awake to it are very responsible for it. And I know, like you are, you're very responsible. You're already focused in on doing things, doing goodness for humanity.
What am I going to do with, $29 billion?
But the other thing too is that we know the money is the ability to do the things that we want to do. It's not the money
right
itself.
now. You have 7,200 multi-billionaires around the world. Most of them are about champagne, cocaine, big yachts, and they live in this three-dimensional world. They do nothing for humanity at all. Zero.
Service to self.
Right, service to self, and they do nothing for any of us. We're about to graduate into a world that potentially, Lisa, we can have as many as 100 million new multi-billionaires.
Yeah. Doing all good things. I believe that. And I feel that positive energy about it. I really, really do, which is good. So let's leave it on a positive note like that, because I think it's great. Mel, thank you so much for highlighting and elucidating, and let's give me the links below so people can come to and learn through your amazing work that you and your team have done about how to understand this system, because I think all of us are at a point where it's here and it's time to learn.
But before I let you go, I want to say one last thing. In our course at QFS1776.com, there is a series of videos that they spent well over $350,000 in production costs. They are the best videos ever made that depict in an elementary format, in a chronological order, what a screw job the fiat dollar was. They tell you everything and how the con was perpetrated on humanity. And the average person who has 100 IQ will understand this.
Yeah.
I
gotta tell you, that is so important, because you have to first understand what was wrong with this in order to say, I got to get out of it now.
Bingo.
There you go. Fantastic. You and I are in the same place. Wonderful. This is Lisa from Question the Narrative. Thanking you, Mel Carmine, for joining me today on April the 5th, 2023. Everybody have a great day.